Every day, we scroll through hundreds of posts, headlines, screenshots, and videos online. Some are true, some are misleading, and some are intentionally designed to manipulate us. But not all false or harmful information is the same. Good day, everyone. We'll be talking about fake news, featuring me, Jetro Betano from grade 11 Love. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get right into it. In this discussion, we will analyze the differences between dis, and malinformation through real-world examples and critical discussion. We will use critical thinking to examine how each type of information spreads, why people believe them, and how they influence public opinion and behavior. As you might know, fake news is not just one thing. There are actually three different types of false or harmful information. At least what I just said. There is the dis, mis, and malinformation. Let's break it down together one by one. Let us begin with disinformation. Disinformation refers to false or misleading information that is intentionally designed or created to deceive people. Unlike accidental sharing of incorrect information, disinformation involves a deliberate effort to manipulate public opinion, to damage reputations, or to influence the way people might think. An example of disinformation can be seen in politically charged social media posts that imitate legitimate news reports. As you see here, this post is an example of political disinformation through fabricated content. This is a fabricated content type, which is completely false information that is fully made up to deceive people. Unlike misleading content that may still have some truth, fabricated content has no factual basis and is presented as if it were real or legitimate information. In this case, it shows a picture of Rodrigo Duterte beside a statement claiming that the OFWs, or the Overseas Filipino Workers, and the DDS, or the diehard Duterte supporters, they should just stop complaining about the PhilHealth contributions increase and just obey the government. The post looks believable because they slapped on an ABS-CBN branding and they tried to make it look official. However, after I did some digging, I found out that these posts are false. There is no verified speech, transcript, or interview where Duterte actually said these exact words. In fact, ABS-CBN clarified that this graphic wasn't even theirs to begin with, right here in the right, clarifying that this post is indeed fake. This was posted a day later after the fake news. I also found a different post from the PCOO, the Philippine government agency that is responsible for communicating the president's policies, announcement, and public informations to citizens, which their job is basically to fact check stuff like this involving the government or the president. The post says clarified that it is indeed fake. Now, I actually found the account of one of the posters in the examples. As you can see, he's very politically outspoken and is especially critical of those in power, just like Rodrigo Duterte. How can this be considered disinformation, you might ask? Well, it's because it openly represents a fake, unverified quote as if it were an official news report made by ABS-CBN, which in turn misinforms other people, spreading the misinformation, the fake news, until it goes out of control. You might ask, why would this not be considered misinformation or misinformation? Because the main difference between misinformation and disinformation is intent. I believe the political context of the poster may strengthen the argument that the content was shared to shape public opinion or attack the powerful. If the creator knowingly spread an unverified or fabricated quote while presenting it as if it is credible news, then the act goes beyond simple misinformation and becomes disinformation, since there is a deliberate intention to mislead the audience. After a little further digging, I found the original post before it was doctored. They slapped on their own words and kept the label, making people think that whatever they said, ABS-CBN also said. One important question here that arises is why were people even making these in the first place? To understand that, we need to look at the situation in the Philippines at that time. The country was under the COVID-19 lockdowns. Many people were losing their jobs, the OFWs were struggling financially. At the same time, the increase in PhilHealth contributions became a major public controversy. Emotions were already very high because people were anxious, angry, and constantly online during the quarantine. Social media became the perfect environment due to all these factors for disinformation. A fake quote that made Duterte looking like an asshole spread quickly because it matched the frustration that the people were already feeling. Another important factor behind the post like this is political polarization. It happens when people become strongly divided into opposing political sides. Instead of just discussing the issue, the supporters and critics begin viewing each other as if they are enemies, and emotions start to outweigh facts. In May 2020, political polarization in the Philippines was especially intense. Supporters and critics of Rodrigo Duterte constantly clashed online, especially during the controversial issues like the COVID-19 lockdowns, the ABS-CBN shutdown, and the PhilHealth contributions increase. Because tensions were already high, play quote cards like this spread very easily. Many people share them immediately because the message matched what they already believed or felt about Duterte. Instead of verifying the source, emotional reactions often came first. Now that we look at disinformation, let's move on to misinformation. Unlike disinformation, misinformation is false or inaccurate information that is, like I said before, shared without the intent to deceive. This means the person sharing it may believe it is true even if it is not. One clear example of this can be seen here. There are multiple posts of the same image, the COVID-19 checklist, giving 1 to 3 points for each question. Allegedly, the higher points, the more likely you are to have COVID. It said that if you were in the 0 to 2 range, it might just be from some other medical reasons or unrelated reasons. In the 3 to 5 range, just take care of yourself a bit more and reevaluate after a couple of days. And in the 6 to 12 mark, it starts to get worrying because you might potentially actually have COVID. And it's said that if you get 12 points or more, you should just straight up call UH because automatically you just have COVID. However, if you might notice, if you actually add these points one by one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If you add them all up, it only adds up to 20 points. And this post says that if you get 12 to 24 points, you have COVID. Not only is this wrong, they even made it. They even made the graphics wrong. 24 maximum, you can only get 20 points. However, this was later addressed by the Department of Health, the DOH, which clarified that the checklist is not medically accurate and should not be used as a basis for diagnosing COVID-19. Now you might ask, just how is this considered misinformation? Well, this can be considered misinformation because from the captions given, let's go back. It seems they're posting out of worry, spreading awareness, and thinking of the safety of other people. If you carefully, they say, let's see, please do self-evaluation on this. Awareness should reach everyone. Stay safe. Let's live, everyone. Or let's see, wait, it's so tiny. Oops. Kailan ba magpapakonsulta sa ospital, wag sana dalos-dalos punta ng ospital sa ngayon. Di niyo alam baka may kaso ng COVID yung mapasukan yung ER tapos na-expose kayo lalo. Drink at least 2 liters of water, wash your hands lagi. 'Di ba? They're making this post out of concern. They are spreading fake news with the intent to deceive, and it is, therefore, misinformation. It's as simple as considering the context in the method in which one spreads the info so that it can be considered as such. Up next, oops, hold on. Up next, we have malinformation. For this, I'd want to ask you a question first. Have you ever seen someone post a screenshot of a private chat and it suddenly spreads online, making the person involved look bad even if the message is real? Well, whether you like it or not, it is indeed malinformation. Malinformation is when true or partly true information is shared in a way that harms someone, usually by taking it out of context or exposing private details without consent. So even if something is not fake, the way it is used or shared can still make it harmful. A real case reported by the Manila Bulletin involves Anthony Jennings, Maris Racal, and Jamela Villanueva. In this situation, private screenshots of conversations were posted online by Jamela Villanueva, the ex-girlfriend of Anthony Jennings. The posts were used in connection with allegations of infidelity involving Anthony and Maris. The case goes like this. On Instagram stories, Jamala shared screenshots of Anthony's private conversations with Maris. This is my truth, and sharing it is my way of moving forward, not with anger, but with strength, hope, and the belief that better days are ahead, wrote Jamala. Recently, Anthony confirmed her breakup with Jamala, but he did not give details. I'm grateful that Anthony finally chose to speak the truth, because I'd been carrying the weight of it all on my own for so long, Jamala added. And then on came the screenshots. Once Jamela posted them on Instagram stories, everything blew up. People started reposting, sharing, and breaking this down like it was some public property. What was once a private matter between the two people suddenly became something the entire internet could see. I mean, yeah, sure, she experienced emotional distress. Yes, she felt compelled to share everything in an attempt to explain her side, but that doesn't excuse her actions or the consequences that followed. Under the Data Privacy Act of 2012, personal data cannot generally be collected, used, or shared without the consent of the people involved, especially when it involves private conversations that are not meant for public distribution. This means that even if the intention was to clarify or defend yourself, publicly posting private messages can still raise legal or ethical issues once it involves other individuals who did not agree to have those conversations exposed. In other words, emotional intent does not remove responsibility, including the responsibility of sharing information that can harm someone, even if it might be true, which is precisely why it can go under malinformation. Remember, the internet gave you a choice, but that doesn't mean you should be loud at the expense of someone else. This is Jetro Bitanio from Grade 11 Love, your fellow student of MIL.